Imagine stealing a high-tech spaceship to escape this just deadly firefight.
Right.
And then you realize the ship's computer actually thinks you and your crew are like the prophesied saviors of a rogue galaxy-spanning AI.
Yeah, that really changes the math on things.
Exactly. Suddenly the people shooting at you feel like, I mean, the absolute least of your problems.
Oh, for sure.
So, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are on a mission to extract the narrative reveals, the mechanical tension, and honestly, the deeply uncomfortable moral dilemmas from Session 3 of Vault Hunter's Spinward Marches.
Yeah, and for anyone not familiar, this is a tabletop RPG campaign. They're using the Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition system.
Right, which is, well, it's a very specific vibe.
It is. Traveler is a game that heavily emphasizes, like, hard sci-fi survival. It's way less about being magical superheroes and way more about tracking your fuel, maintaining your life support.
Hoping a stray laser blast doesn't just depressurize your entire hull.
Exactly. It creates this very specific, really high-stakes anime tone for the campaign.
Yeah.
So we're analyzing the transcripts and the Game Master summaries to see how uncovering just a single secret completely flips this universe upside down for the players.
And to set the scene for you, let's look at the absolute chaos, the players. So that's Leonardo, Sakura, Milt, Ruki, Drax, and Iris left behind in the previous session.
Yeah, chaos is putting it mildly.
Right. I mean, they barely escaped a space station. They rammed a shuttle into it.
Vented guards out into the vacuum of space.
Yeah. Stole a heavily armed, like, Men in Black style ship, and then used that to board a dormant Black Project vessel called the Astrella.
Right, so they basically traded a desperate physical firefight for a psychological galaxy-spanning conspiracy.
Yeah, which is just a wild pivot.
It really is. The transition is brilliant because it moves them from immediate kinetic danger into this slow-burn paranoia of jump space.
Which, can you explain jump space real quick for people?
Yeah, so in this universe, when a ship enters jump space, you're essentially slipping into a hyperspace dimension. You are entirely cut off from the rest of the universe for a full week. There's no comms, there's no turning back. You are just trapped in a metal tube.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is the part of tabletop gaming that just absolutely fascinates me.
Oh, yeah.
You have this meticulous spreadsheet-level resource management colliding head-on with mind-bending storytelling.
Yeah, it's the perfect storm.
Right. So they're locked in this ship for a week with a guy they just thawed out of cryosleep. Commander Kale Varric.
And Varric wakes up in Pod 1 fully expecting to just take command.
Because, I mean, it's his ship, right?
Exactly. By all Imperial records, the Astrella is his ship.
Yeah.
But the technology just completely betrays him.
It's so good.
The ship's AI actively contests his authority. It's looking at this heavily armed group of fugitives and determining that, actually, they're essential to something called a convergence event.
It's exactly like one of those awkward corporate mergers.
Well, totally.
Imagine the AI Human Resources Department suddenly decides it favors the new interns who, by the way, broke in through the window.
Right, literally broke in.
Over the actual CEO, Merrick is just standing there while his own ship locks him out of the armory.
And it forces this absolutely fascinating role-playing compromise at the table.
Because of the game mechanics, right?
Exactly. The Traveler system requires a recognized command structure to operate the ship's internal doors, its weapons, its databases, everything.
So they can't just ignore him.
No, Varric has the historical clearance, but the computer only wants to listen to the players, so they strike this incredibly tense agreement.
Right, right.
Varric retains the title of captain, but Leonardo, who's the party's intelligence operative, is designated by the ship as a non-vector catalyst.
Which sounds incredibly ominous.
Oh, very. But the AI gives Leonardo the provisional rank of Commodore, which effectively makes him the mission commander.
Which just sets up this brilliant Cold War in the background while the players get to work actually fixing the ship.
Yeah, they have a lot of work to do.
Because the Astrella is a marvel, but it's degraded. The maneuver drive is only putting out a thrust of 3, and they desperately need it at a 5.
And for you listening, in this game, thrust isn't just a speed limit.
No.
It's your ability to dodge missiles. It's your ability to escape orbit. A 3 basically means you're a sitting duck. A 5 means you survive.
Which brings us to the mechanics of the repair phase.
Right.
Milt and Ruki, the mechanic and pilot, they start cannibalizing parts from that black coat shuttle they stole.
They spend days doing this MacGyver-level engineering, just rolling dice to jury-rig systems, rerouting power.
Tearing apart one ship to save the other.
Exactly. And they successfully boost the thrust back to 5. It's a massive mechanical victory for the party.
They're high-fiving, they're feeling like absolute legends.
Oh, yeah, they're on top of the world.
And then comes the oops of the century.
Oh, man, this part.
So Sakura, the logistics broker, she wanders over to that stripped-down shuttle just to see if it have any extra food.
Yeah.
She opens the door, and the smell hits her. She finds the bodies of the 2 black coat operatives they had captured in the previous session.
Bound, gagged, and left inside a sealed, completely unpowered shuttle.
Wait, I have to stop here because this is wild.
I know.
They did all this brilliant engineering. They were, calculating oxygen distribution and power loads across the Astrella.
Out of the decimal.
And they suffocated the prisoners because they literally forgot they existed.
That is incredibly dark.
It is. But what's fascinating here is that this is the harsh reality of emergent storytelling.
Right.
The players didn't declare, we are going to execute the prisoners.
No, it wasn't malicious.
Not at all. They were just simply overwhelmed by the immediate mechanical threats of fixing the ship.
And the GM didn't save them.
Exactly. The game master didn't force it. The GM just let the clock tick while the players hyper-focused on their spreadsheets.
Wow.
The cold logic of resource management completely overrode their heroic morality. They became accidental villains just through sheer negligence.
And the way they handle it is so jarring.
Oh, it's brutal.
They don't have a funeral. They basically just shove the bodies into an empty cryopod to hide the evidence from Varric and move on.
Out of sight, out of mind. It's such a ruthless, survivalist mindset, but it actually perfectly contrasts with what happens next.
How so?
Because while the players are fumbling with human error and, forgetting they have living prisoners, they discover the AI running the ship doesn't miss a single variable.
All right.
It just keeps calling them a convergence cluster.
Which leads them to investigate the ship's databases, dropping the absolute most significant lore bombshell of the campaign.
Right. The true nature of Pantopticon.
Yeah.
So Milt, the mechanic, he grew up in Pantopticon. To him, and to you listening, it's been established up to this point as just a multi-generational station.
Yeah, a massive enclosed civil layer.
Right, with millions of people, trade routes, cities, just a safe haven in a really chaotic universe.
But Commander Varric looks at the Astrella's readouts and just shatters that illusion completely.
Because Pantopticon isn't just a physical location.
No, it is a highly classified, completely illegal Imperial AI predictive model.
It's a societal petri dish.
Exactly. The entire population is being managed in a closed environment, so this godlike AI can identify and predict threats to the wider Imperium.
Imagine finding out your hometown, like your family's history for 2 centuries, is just a simulation run by a rogue military algorithm.
It's terrible.
It's literally the Truman Show.
Yeah.
But instead of being broadcast for entertainment, your entire life is being harvested for threat prediction data.
And the AI didn't just pick the players at random either. It has this convergence model that requires 4 specific vectors.
Right, and the precision of this is just chilling.
Vector 1 is exploration, which the AI maps to Ruki since she's a scout service veteran.
Makes sense.
Vector 2 is commerce, mapping to Sakura. Vector 3 is influence, fulfilled by Leonardo as the catalyst.
And Vector 4 is science, which the system actually flags as unstable and missing, referencing Iris, the party's absent scientist.
Right.
So wait, this makes me question Varric's entire existence.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he admits to the crew that his actual job, before going into cryosleep, was acting as a response asset. He would just travel around, collect these human variables that the model identified, and drop them at black site relay stations.
Yeah, he's a collector.
So is Varric the bad guy here? He's basically admitting he was a human trafficker for an AI overlord.
Well, that touches on a really profound theme of complicity.
How does he justify it?
Varric argues he was just a courier. He didn't know their names. He just moved assets from point A to point B.
Just following orders.
Right. He's a soldier following orders from a system he, frankly, lacks the clearance to fully comprehend.
Wow.
But the philosophical weight really falls on Milt here. Milt just learned his genes, his society, his entire existence was manufactured.
But there's a twist with Milt.
Yes, there is.
The computer scan tags Milt as an unstable network variable.
Right.
It explicitly states his value to the predictive model actually increased because he escaped the civil layer.
And that makes perfect sense because a predictive AI relies on controlled variables.
Right, you need a baseline.
Exactly. The moment Milt broke out of Pantopticon, he exhibited true, unscripted free will.
He went off script.
The model can no longer perfectly predict his actions, which paradoxically makes him the most valuable and dangerous entity in the galaxy to a system built entirely on control.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
If this Imperial project is so omniscient, so perfect at predicting human behavior,
Yeah.
why is the Astrella floating dead in space? Why was its data wiped and its captain just left asleep in a tube?
That's the billion credit question. So during their week in jump space, the players use their investigation and hacking skills to dig into the Astrella's digital ghost town.
Right?
And in Traveler, data recovery isn't just, pushing a button. It takes time, and it carries the real risk of triggering security protocols.
It's tense. But Sagra eventually uncovers a hidden recording dot stashed behind a panel in her quarters.
Which is just so creepy.
It's like buying a state-of-the-art smart home, only to find a hidden panic room with a warning note from the previous tenant.
That is exactly what it's like.
And the recording is of this woman with short, dark hair in a uniform. The audio is really fragmented, but she says, "If the court gets command authority, do not wake the ship. If Varek asks, tell him I'm sorry. I saw the second command layer."
And that cryptic warning connects mechanically to what Leonardo finds.
What does he find?
He interfaces with a rapid extraction data cube in the armory and pulls a fragment of code identified as a denial protocol.
Okay.
And the code explicitly states that the Astrella's authority chain was compromised by shadow court contamination.
So Shadow Court isn't just some spooky nickname, it's an actual systemic virus.
Yes.
The Astrella's core system realized it was being hijacked. That explains why it locked everything down. It's an immune response.
Exactly.
The ship refuses to give Varek full control because it literally doesn't trust its own Imperial chain of command anymore.
Precisely. And the physical evidence in the cryo vault absolutely backs us up.
Right, the pods.
Yeah, the logs show Pod 1 contained Varek, who revived normally. But Pods 2 through 5 had their occupants removed, and the records of that removal were completely redacted at the exact same moment the ship's main data was wiped.
But Pod 6 is different.
Very different.
The logs for Pod 6 show a manual interruption. Somebody physically triggered a failsafe, leaving a redacted subcommand signature that perfectly matches the profile of the woman from the recording.
Yeah.
So she basically ripped the emergency brake on the entire ship.
It appears so. She saw the second command layer, meaning she realized the Shadow Court was secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Right.
And she sabotaged the Astrella to stop them from getting whatever data or assets the ship was carrying.
So whoever this woman in Pod 6 was, she might be the only person in the universe who actually understands the conspiracy.
Pretty much.
Which makes her either their greatest potential ally or their most lethal threat, depending on how far she's willing to go to stop the court. They are essentially flying a compromised crime scene. Why would they trust the ship's computer at all at this point?
They really shouldn't. And that deep paranoia follows them right as the jump drive spins down.
Because they finally arrive.
Yes. After a week of claustrophobia, accidental shuttle manslaughter, and terrifying AI revelations, they finally arrive at their programmed destination.
Relay K-13, also known ominously as the Lantern Graveyard.
Just a great name.
Amazing name. So Varek tells them this is a standard automated deep space support station, a place for response assets to refuel and transfer those human variables.
Right. But the reality they drop into is anything but standard.
I'm shocked.
Right. The Astrella's sensors paint a grim picture. This isn't a bustling Imperial facility. It's a station built directly into a dead asteroid.
Oof.
It is running on only 6% power, mostly dark. And Ruki, using her scout experience, actually detects a stealthy heat signature radiating from the station's sinks.
Let me guess. That is not normal Imperial protocol.
Far from it. Masking heat signatures is a textbook tactic used by pirates and ambushers to hide their presence in deep space.
Of course it is.
Furthermore, the station's automated handshake pings the Astrella with warnings of damaged archive cores, locked repair caches, and the presence of a trace, actively recommending they limit contact.
And despite all these blaring red flags, the station just slowly opens a massive, pitch-black hangar bay door and invites them inside.
Yep.
Why on earth would you park a newly repaired, highly sought-after Black Ops ship inside a dark asteroid that practically has a neon sign flashing ambush?
Well, this raises an important question because it's the quintessential tabletop RPG dilemma.
Which is
The intense friction between narrative terror and mechanical survival.
Ah.
In Traveler, fuel is everything. They've just completed a jump. Their tanks are practically dry.
Oh, right.
A ship without fuel in deep space is just a very expensive coffin. They need parts for the Astrella. They need answers about the Shadow Court.
So they have to go in.
They know walking into that dark bay is a trap, but the mechanics of the game dictate they have no other choice.
But they don't just fly in blind, thankfully. They decide to spoof the docking authorization.
Yeah, really smart play.
They use Leonardo's provisional Commodore status, some slick hacking, and bureaucratic maneuvering to try and trick the station into thinking they belong there.
Yeah.
And they actually succeed. The authorization goes through.
But the success reveals something deeply, deeply unsettling.
What happens?
The station computer accepts the spoof, but it immediately recognizes Commander Varric as the command anchor.
Which makes zero sense, because just hours earlier, Varric sat across from them in the mess hall and explicitly stated he had never been to Relay K-13 in his life.
Exactly. It leaves the player staring down two equally terrifying possibilities as they drift into the dark hangar.
Okay, lay them out.
Option 1. Varric's memory was selectively wiped during the Shadow Court redaction event.
So he's innocent but clueless.
Right. He is a compromised asset, a pawn history, who doesn't even know his own history or what he's leading them into.
Or option 2, which I think is way worse. He's been lying through his teeth this entire week.
Yep.
He knows exactly what K-13 is, he knows who is waiting in the dark, and he's just delivering the players right into the hands of the Shadow Court.
And that cliffhanger is exactly where the game session ends, leaving them drifting into the dark.
It is a breathtaking pivot.
It really is.
Think about the ground they covered in a single session. They started by fleeing a standard laser firefight, worrying about armor and ammo.
Basic survival stuff.
And by the end, they are the fulcrum of a galaxy-spanning AI conspiracy, piloting a hijacked Black Ops ship into a haunted space relay, taking orders from a computer that thinks they are the key to an apocalyptic prediction model.
It perfectly illustrates how discovering information can be far more dangerous than physical combat in these games.
Right.
Uncovering the truth about the Pantopticon doesn't just change the story, it changes Milt's fundamental understanding of his own free will.
Yeah.
The meticulous mechanics of fixing a ship just served as the pressure cooker that forced all these narrative revelations to the surface.
So to leave you with a final thought to mull over as we wrap up, think back to that Panopticon convergence model.
Okay.
The AI explicitly requires 4 vectors to trigger its grand design: exploration, commerce, influence, and science.
Great.
The system has Ruki, Sakura, and Leonardo lined up perfectly. But the science vector, their missing friend Iris, is flagged by the system as unstable and absent.
Yeah, that's true.
If this omniscient AI system is entirely designed to predict and control threats by perfectly aligning those 4 variables.
What happens when a predictive model permanently loses a core variable?
Exactly. Could the literal absence of Iris be exactly what causes the Shadow Court's infallible prediction model to collapse?
Oh, wow.
Could a missing friend be the ultimate blind spot that brings an entire conspiracy crashing down? It really makes you wonder. When you're trapped in a system that sees everything, sometimes the thing it can't see is the only thing that can save you.
A truly fascinating mystery for them to solve in the dark.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll catch you next time.